hi.
Hi.
How are you? You good?
Good. I'm surviving the PKP.
Well, okay. Can you please introduce a bit about yourself?
Like, how much do you want me to introduce myself? Like my name and my class, or
Everything that you want to introduce to me.
okay? I would say that my name is Amira Nadia binti Harun Rashid, and currently in semester 6, class D, which is also your class, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
Don't expose me.
I guess that's it. Like that's the little about me. Okay.
Okay, all right. So very well. Miss Nadia, let's jump straight away into our mini interview. My
Right.
first question for you would be, do you know what informal language is? And if you do know, what are the types and how do you differentiate them?
Can you repeat the first part of the question? Because
Oh, sorry, okay, quite wobbly. Okay, my first question is, do you know what informal language is?
informal language, as in how we chat in Twitter or Instagram, like that.
Well, it is your opinion, so whatever that you have on your
Okay.
thoughts.
Okay. Okay. Informal language. I think I know a bit. It's like if it's very different, rather than formal language like right now. I think right now is considered formal, like we're
Mm-hmm,
talking on in the interview right now. But
mm-hmm.
in the case of informal language, I think it's much more like how we talk with our friends, like daily conversation.
Okay, I see. So, to me, you are clearly can distinguish between the formal language and informal language. So, by fact, do you know there are many types of informal language? Can you please name one?
Types of informal language. I don't think I know, so I can't really name one. So I'm not sure
Right. Okay. Okay.
because I
As you
only know
say,
like
so
informal and formal. Okay.
alright, okay, I see. Okay, my next question for you. Slang is also a part of informal language, and our generation, the Gen Z, is well known for creating the slang in our daily communication.
Mhm.
So, do you have some kind of your own personal slang that you normally use when you are having conversation with your colleagues or maybe like your friend?
Personal slangs. I think I do,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly I pick up from people. So it's
Can you
like
please like show me the example of it?
example. I think like LOL is considered as a slang for
Yeah.
me. LOL. Oh, oh, okay. That we cannot. I'm sorry. Cut this out. Cut this out.
Okay. Okay, so we have like PG-18 over there. It's okay. I totally
Yeah.
understood.
Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, it's like more of like Malay slangs that I know rather than English slangs, because English is my second language, so I don't really use that much. But if I do, it's just like the general slang that everyone knows, like LOL, LMAO. Is it? I don't know. And then others like uh what else? Huh? Slangs. Is yikes considered as slangs? I think yikes is it. Yikes.
Okay,
Not
as
sure.
you mentioned before that you normally use a Malay slang. May I know the example of it?
Example of Malay slangs. I would say like why do I know so much? But PG. Um, Malay slangs. Mm, I can't think of one. I don't know why, but nothing comes to mind, which is very weird. I think I've like interaction with people
Huh?
since PKP, so I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So the very next question from me is like, do you perhaps find yourself not to, understand some slangs? And why do you think that when you hear some slang, it's like, well, I cannot understand that. I cannot comprehend that.
Yeah. I do have like that times where I can't really know what people are talking about because of the slangs, and sometimes like I will be like for example, in one group, like my friends, and then they use one slang, but then like everyone else know the slang except for me. So I'm like, in that moment, I feel I just act like I know the slang, but I don't
Oh,
really know because I'm too shy to ask, and I'm embarrassed if I don't know the slang because it's like somehow I'm outdated or something like that.
okay. Okay, very well. Okay, I'm actually like curious, right?
Mhm,
The usage of informal language, especially
mhm,
slang, abbreviation, or jargon, causes
mhm,
miscommunication. Do
mhm.
you think so or not?
In communication, I think like if we use jargons,
Mm-hmm.
it will, for me, I will consider as something that you do formally,
Mm-hmm.
like most like in meetings or when we are in class. Sometimes we use jargon words to impress people or impress people we don't know. So I think jargon words are essential if you want to do like business or studies or something like that. But if using slangs, I think it's more on how we communicate daily, like with friends, family, and colleagues, but not during like formal gatherings. So
So,
jargons, even though jargons
mm-hmm.
for me, uh, I don't really know jargon much. So it's like sometimes I do lah, but then sometimes I don't really use jargons because I don't know it in depth.
Okay, I see. So, in your opinion, that's by using all of those things will cause miscommunication for an individual, or it won't actually like disturb them.
I think it will somehow disturb if we use slangs or jargons because, like, for example, if someone is new and then you use like one slang that only some of you know, and then this one person comes and then you use that slang with him, but then he maybe interprets it like something else, so that could
Mm-hmm.
be like a miscommunication right there. And also if like jargon, I believe that not all people can use jargon words. So I think mainly jargon words is like how you use scientific terms. I think that is jargon for me. So if
Oh,
you want to say something to someone that is not familiar with the scientific terms, then I think you should like simplify it and not use the jargon uh, parts of it.
all right. Okay, I see. All right, a very good answer, I would say. Okay, props to you. Okay. My very my very next question would be, using informal language is indeed a part of our life, especially
Yeah.
when we are talking on our daily communication. Formal language is easy to be understand more by some people. So why do you think that we are not allowed to use the existing simplicity of informal language in informal context? Why we have to use formal language in formal context instead of informal language, which is clearly more easy for us to understand?
For me, I believe that using formal language is something that we need to do because, okay, if in meetings it's considered formal, right? So, by right, most meetings will include our higher ups or someone else, like from another company or something like that. So, I believe that using formal language is like a part of respect for the higher ups and all of that. So I believe that we can't really use unless if we are close to that person. Even if we don't know that person. For instance, I don't know you, and then I meet you for the first time. So
Mm-hmm.
by right, we always like will have like this one introduction session, right? So it's like, hi, my name is blah blah blah, and then you will answer. So that's like for me considered formal. But as we grow like closer, then we tend to have this language like informal language that sometimes only we know or only our group of friends know. So it's like um, it's more on respect on people, I think. So that's why you can't really use informal language in formal situations.
Okay, I see. So it is more like when we're talking to people who are higher position, then we need to use a formal context.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I see. All right. So as a diploma in English communication student yourself, do you think that by using informal language too often in our daily communication, whereby you can ignore the fact that grammar exists, will affect your literary performance?
Um, for me, I think that using too much informal language is kind of how could you say it? It's like a bad, but not that bad, but it's something like what do you call that? Disadvantage. I think using too much because some people tend to use informal language too much, which could cause them to use it in class as well. So like during presentation or something like that. Because okay, some students might have this connection with their lecturers, but like some connection that is all that it's not that uh, it's like a respectful connection with our lecturers, but then we still have to use formal language in our class or with our lecturers. But then sometimes people tend to use too much informal language because it is something that they are used to. So I believe that informal language could be used outside, but then for using it with in the context of study in our like presentation or how we talk to our lecturers, I think there's like this one line that you could not cross. Uh, we have
Okay.
to be very careful. And then for grammar, I think not all people, and I myself, I agree that I do not speak English that well. So
All right.
sometimes my grammar might be everywhere, but then it's part of like a practice.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes using formal language in with our friends also is an advantage for us because we get to learn how to use it properly.
All right. Okay. Wow. I'm impressed. Okay. So, eighth question from me would be like regarding the same question, like the previous one. Do
Mhm.
you think that by using informal language, especially slang, abbreviation, jargon, those things will affect your fluency of speech? Can you please justify?
Mm, I think it will
Mm-hmm.
because how we use jargon is like if we want to know the meaning of the jargon words, we by right will search for it or will ask people about it, so we get to know more about the jargon words and so on, right? So the part where using slangs or jargons to that affects my fluency, I think it does affect, but not to an extent that uh it could be bad for me. Do you get me? It's like
So,
how you say this? It's like it does affect because when you use slangs, you get to be much more comfortable with the language itself. So
mhm.
slowly it will affect my fluency. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, our second to last question would be, if you were given the chance to reset the world, do you still want to have formal language and informal language to coexist, or do you wish to choose only one?
I would love to, if given the chance to restart, right? Like a gameplay, I would probably keep the formal and informal language. I would keep that because for me, there's like this level that you have to know, or this line that you have to know before crossing. It's like you know when to use formal language, when to use informal language, because sometimes if we use too much informal language in a situation that is not really supposed to use informal language, by right, it could affect how people view us, I think lah. But then again, without, okay, let's say I choose informal language only. So it
Mm-hmm.
be very not fun for our daily conversation, because if we see our friends then we have to use formal language, then it's just like weird, because it will have this awkward situation that you have to really properly use the English language with our friends. So it's not that fun. But with slangs, sometimes it's how you connect with people.
Mm,
So like a secret code or something like that.
that's
So
good.
I would keep both.
Okay, okay. This is the very last question of our interview. So usually, formal language is to be used while communicating with someone of a higher position, like elderly, maybe like our bosses, maybe like our lecturers. So why do you think that we have this stigma of when we are talking to these people who are clearly above us, we need to use formal language? Why do you think that this thing actually exists on the system?
Um, I believe that if we use informal language with people who are higher ups, it's like something that you should not do. I don't know why, but it's something that our culture is already taught us since our earlier days, since our younger days. We are taught to respect the elders, respect who are higher ups. Even in diploma right now, we respect our lecturers. So I believe even seniors, even though they're 1 year above us, but we still have that level of respect for them. So I believe that we tend to use formal language out of respect, because like that is how we are taught since we are younger. So people tend to use formal language with elders, with higher ups, with boss. It's like a form of respect for me.
Okay, I see. Well, with that being said, our mini interview is finally end. I would say thank you very much for your cooperation, Miss
You're
Nadia.
welcome. You're welcome.
You today, this evening. I think that's all from me. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.